So one of the things that we're trying to do is cross-pollinate our arts community here. And someone comes in, they're one of the 250 people that come in to look at an exhibit open, which changes monthly. Next thing you know, they're on our email list or they're seeing on our video board what's up next, and they'll come to a show. Then maybe they'll come to a theater production, and it all starts melding together. And for years, I've been calling this, for like the last 6 or 7 years, I've been calling this Albuquerque's cultural collider. If people are constantly working with each other, or running into each other, they'll end up working with each other. They'll start to communicate, and all of a sudden, new different forms of art will happen, and that's happened again and again and again. My name is Dennis Gromelski. I'm executive director of Fusion, which is, and started out as New Mexico's only professional theater company back in 2001. But we've become basically a safe haven for art of all kind, be it things on the wall, fine art, be it performance art, be it the digital realm. We're getting into a lot of neat digital exploratory art these days. In 2001, I had a 22-year career. I've owned a company that does special events and trade shows. I needed a production facility because things were growing for us, and I needed about 40,000 square feet. And walked in and decided, hey, you know, this isn't nearly what I needed as the facility, but boy, would this be a cool theater. So we opened with a specific purpose of creating economic development in the arts. And hand in hand with that was really interesting. As we started doing our productions, we also started fixing up the facility, our first facility next door. And a lot of organizations, when they, for instance, some groups in town have been gifted facilities, gifted buildings, but it's like, well, there's property taxes and someone's got to fix the air conditioning and the roof's leaking and how do we still do our shows, et cetera. It could kill organizations if you don't, know how to handle it correctly. So with the fact that we had the venue and our company both growing at the same time, both growing together, that enabled us to open up our doors to other organizations as well. Our mission statement does not mention the word theater anywhere in it. It's about storytelling, and it's about storytelling helping build empathy for the world, and about creating a welcoming venue and acting with professionalism. And it's been just so amazing to me over the years that's been kind of a guiding principle without us really looking at it. Usually you would think over 22 years you're kind of changing and molding. We're doing that, but even more towards that mission statement. One of the things that I get most from people that I meet for the first time that have just come to Albuquerque is they talk about how willing people are to help. I've worked and lived in a lot of places around the country. You're not going to get the same reaction from people in New York or LA, the big rat race thing. Hey, could you help me find out who can help me with this? It's like, oh, sure. Why don't you go see this person? Why don't you go do that? It's an openness that people kind of like, oh, you don't want us to pay you money for this or anything? I was chair of the Downtown Albuquerque Arts and Cultural District for like 7 years. And we passed Downtown Albuquerque's first cultural plan through the city council unanimously in 2016. And we brought in a bunch of professionals from around the country to look and evaluate what our film industry could be downtown, what the food scene could be, what the library, the literary scene could be. It was amazing to hear what they said. And I'll never forget the comments of Gary Stoyer, who was the chief cultural officer of Philadelphia at the time. He came out here and he goes, I heard all this talk about blight. He's like, there's no blight in downtown Albuquerque. Come to Philly. I'll show you 20 square blocks of burned out buildings. And then the head of the San Francisco library system came in and looked around and said, look, I don't know why you called me in. You have an embarrassment of riches here. You just got to connect the dots and coordinate things. So we didn't call our cultural plan an embarrassment of riches. We called it a multitude of riches. But seeing from the outside and hearing these other people, what they have to say, kind of legitimizes these feelings. I know very few people that have visited Albuquerque and didn't want to come back, either to visit or to stay. I mean, it's a special place.